We make it out well. The preparers ignore us on a day when easier, tastier prey abounds. By late morning we have a dozen fish, a bag of greens, and best of all, a gallon of strawberries. I found a patch a few years ago, but Gail has the idea to string mesh nets around it to keep out the animals. On the way home, we swing by the Hob, the black market that operates in an abandoned warehouse that once held coal. When they came up with the more efficient system that transported the coal directly from the mines to the trains, the Hob gradually took over the place. Most businesses are closed by this time on reaping day, but black market's still fairly busy. We easily trade six of the fish for good bread, the other two for salt. Greasy C, the bony old woman who sells bowls of hot soup from a large kettle, takes half the greens off our hands in exchange for a couple chunks of paraffin. We might do a tad better elsewhere, but we make an effort to keep good terms with Greasy C. She's the only one who can constantly be counted on to buy wild dog, and we don't hunt them on purpose. But if you're attacked and you take out a dog or two, well, meat is meat. Once it's in the soup, I call it beef, Greasy C says with a wink. No one in Seam would turn up their nose at a good leg of wild dog, but peacekeepers who come to the Hob can afford to be a little choosy. When we finish our business at the market, we go to the back room of the mayor's house to sell half of the strawberries, knowing he has a particular fondness to them and can afford our price. The mayor's daughter, Madge, opens the door. She's in my year at school. Being the mayor's daughter, you'd expect her to be a snob, but she's all right. She just keeps to herself like me. Since neither of us really have a group of friends, we seem to end up together a lot at school, eating lunch, sitting next to each other at assemblies, partnering for sports activities. We rarely talk, which suits us both just fine. Today, her drab school outfit has been replaced by an expensive white dress, and her blonde hair is done up with a pink ribbon, reaping clothes. Pretty dress, says Gail. Madge shoots him a look, trying to see if it's genuine compliment or if he's just being ironic. It is a pretty dress, but she would never be wearing it ordinarily. She presses her lips together and then smiles. Well, if I end up going to the Capitol, I want to look nice, don't I? Now it's Gail's turn to be confused. Does she mean it? Or is she messing with him? I'm guessing the second. You won't be going to the Capitol, Gail says coolly. His eyes land on the small, particular pin that adorns her dress. Real gold, beautiful, crafted. It could keep a family in bread for months. What can you have? 5 entries? I had 6 when I was just 12 years old. That's not her fault, I say. No, it's no one's fault. Just the way it is, says Gail. Madge's face has become closed off. She puts the money for the berries in my hand. Good luck, Katniss. You too, I say, and the door closes. We walk towards Seam in silence. I don't like that Gail took a dig at Mag, but he's right, of course. The reaping system is unfair, with the poor getting the worst of it. You become imbecile for the reaping the day you turn 12. eligible for the reaping on the day you turn 12. That year your name is entered once, at 13 twice, and so on until you reach the age of 18, the final year of ability, when your name goes in the pool 7 times. If that's true for every citizen in all 12 districts in the entire country of Payam. But here's the catch. Say you're poor, starving, and as we were, you can adopt to add your name more times in exchange for trezes. Each trezin is worth a meager year's supply of grain and oil for one person. You may do this for each of your family members as well. So at the age of 12, I had my name entered 4 times. Once because I had to, 3 times for the trezin for grain, and oil for myself, Prim, and my mother. In fact, every year I have needed to do this, and the entries are cumulative. So now, at age 16, my name will be in the reaping 12 times. Gel, who's 18, has been either helping or single-handedly feeding a family of 5 for 7 years, will have his name in it 42 times. You can see why someone like Madge, who has never been at risk of needing for a trezin, can set him off. The chance of her name being John is very slim compared to those of us who live in the scene. Not impossible, but slim. And even though the rules were set up by the capital, not the districts, certainly not Madge's family, it's hardly not to resent those who don't have to sign up for trezin. Gale knows his anger at Madge is misdirected. On the other days, deep in the woods, I have listened to him rant about how trezins are just another tool to cause mystery in our district, a way to plant hatred between starving workers of Seam and those who can gently count on supply, thereby ensure we will never trust one another. It's to the capital's advantage to see us divide amongst ourselves, he might say, if there was no ears who hear, but mine. If it wasn't reaping day, if a girl with a gold pin and no trezins had not made what I'm sure she thought was a harmless comment, we could, as we walk, I glance over at Gil's face, still smothering underneath his stony expression. He ranges seems pointless to me, although I never say so. It's not that I don't agree with him, I do. But what good is yelling about the capital in the middle of the woods? It doesn't change anything. It doesn't make things fair. It doesn't fill our stomachs. In fact, it scares off the nearby game. I let him yell, though. Better he does it in the woods than in the district. Gil and I divide our spoils, leaving 2 fish and a couple of loaves of good bread, greens, a quart of strawberries, salt, paraffin, and a bit of money for each. See you in the square, I say. Wear something pretty, he says flatly. At home, I find my mother and sister are ready to go. My mother wears a fine dress from her patrony days. Prim is in my first reaping outfit, a skirt and ruffled blouse. It's a bit big on her, but my mother has made it stay with pins. Even so, she has trouble keeping the blouse tucked in the back.